All right, guys, we're going to give you a review for the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett titled Stranger in a Strange Land. Now, this show is the second live action Star Wars show to be produced, and I got to tell you, I loved it. What'd you think?
It was good. I'll give you my breakdown, right? And then because you're way more qualified to speak on this, I'm just gonna give you the non fan, like non super fan idea. First part, very slow, interesting, but very slow. Middle part, breathtaking, amazing, action, solid, interest. Like my interest was peaked during the middle, and then it kind of slowed down during the end. That's how I saw it. That was my little curve. How did you think?
I think, yeah, first of all, a lot of people are complaining about like the show's over reliance on flashbacks. I mean, like, do y'all want to find out how he got out of the Sarlacc or what? Like, that's something that has been a quandary since 1983. People have always been wondering like, how did he get out of the Sarlacc? People didn't even know if he survived or not. So I think it's great that not only are they giving us answers to these pressing questions, but they're giving us stuff that we never even asked for, like flashbacks to Attack the Clones, alternate shots with the body double. Right, that was beautiful just to see like how far Boba has come and how he's changed from that boy who like was reacting to his father's death into this hardened bounty hunter slash crime lord that he is
See, a lot
now.
of people didn't like that, but I think it's because you showed me that video of the fan made one way back when. I liked it. I liked that part. It was a little slow and it was very low on the dialogue. I think maybe they could have shown a more like elaborate, eloquent way of escaping the Sarlacc pit. And I also was kind of annoyed that they didn't have that scene. You know that the scene where he looks at the pit and he's like, "I won't be doing that
It's not
again."
happening again. Yeah, I love that scene, bro. In the
Yeah.
Battlefront trailer, right?
So he didn't do that. That was annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
Fun fact, I fell asleep right before the action. That's how boring I thought it was up till there. And then right up before the action, then you had to wake me up. You were like, nope, you're gonna fall asleep. But then the action kicked in and I just stayed up.
yeah, you were like, they're not doing anything. They're just talking. I'm like, yeah, they were talking right before they started throwing punches at the assassins that jumped them. Like, come on, let's talk about those assassins for a little bit. A lot of people are
Hmm.
saying they're Crimson Dawn, and sure, there is some similarity between the outfits of those guys and the Crimson Dawn folks. However, I think those folks are actually hired by the mayor because in a
I
scene from the
second that.
promos, yeah, you can see like Boba Fett dragging that one last guy into this Hammerhead figure's office. I think the Hammerhead dude is the mayor. All right, that's my hot take right now. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think the same. Like I said, I second that. I think the whole thing's orchestrated by the mayor. Also, I like the way this show is going because what I feel like is they're gonna have the whole conversation of how should one lead, and Boba's like, I want to lead with respect, and everyone's like, no, that's not gonna work. Nobody respects you. They all just want to be scared. If they're scared of you, they'll work for you. The mayor, I liked how self-aware Boba was as well when it was like the mayor's guy was like, I want you to pay me, and he was like, wait, hold on. I'm the crime lord. What's going on here?
Yeah, that guy was like a little bitch, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a
The
huge bitch,
Twi'lek.
but
Jesus
yeah,
Christ,
that
I want him
was.
to get the worst death possible.
I like how they're going with that side of the show. They're just like they're gonna show how Boba turns from, I think at least, how Boba turns from like I want to lead with the respect guy to this person who's like, all right, I have to lead by fear because that's the only way I can. So it's gonna be like a transformation.
I think Robert Rodriguez hinted that like he won't be as he won't be as heroic as the trailers make him seem, and he will have to go like full on brutality mode at one point. I'm looking forward to seeing Boba snap.
Mm-hmm.
I
Hundred
know
percent.
Fennec's gonna love it for sure because like Fennec's like kind of egging him to embrace his darker impulses, and he's like, nah, I don't do all that stuff. I'm a nice person as of now, right?
The way I was thinking of it was that you get more ruthless with time.
Oh, absolutely. I think the longer you stay in power, the more it corrupts you.
Mm-hmm.
That's another theme in Dune, by the way. And I hope you saw the Dune influences in this, right?
100%. That's the whole
Especially with
sand
that
thing.
monster and the lighting and the
That pissed
sand. I
me
mean, sure.
off. See, that's the end part. I hate Star Wars monsters coming in every single time and ruining it, but justified. And what was that species? The guy who had Boba Fett kidnapped,
The Tusken Raiders.
the Tusken Raiders. That guy was the biggest shitter of all time, bro.
Bro, I know. Jesus Christ. My man, not only like he wasn't grateful for it, he like took credit for the
Yeah, yeah.
kill.
He's like, I did it. I did it.
It was, and then everybody applauded him too. Like y'all aren't buying this kid's bullshit too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, "I killed that
What?
monster all by myself."
All by myself.
Like,
And then the dad's like, nah, man.
nah,
Like
nah, he
I
knows.
yeah, sure you did it, but I'm gonna give Boba the drink.
Yeah. I didn't like he was such a shitter because I didn't like how he, like, dumped his water.
Dude, top 10 most shitterish Star Wars characters
I
right
know,
there.
facts, he
But
was such a shitter.
anyways, Boba Fett is like an anti-shitter because this guy, like, first of all, we know he's gonna get trained by the Tuskens and receive not only the Gothy stick, but also his iconic black robes, as we saw in the tragedy. Then next episode, my prediction is he's gonna go to Tosky Station or maybe Anchorhead. But point is, he's gonna go to Tosky Station, beat up a couple guys, then go back to Jabba's palace, get to Slave One, and then go to Tython, where where we saw him go in the Mandalorian. So it's like a prequel to that episode. I love that.
Yeah. I liked how they have one side is, like, the flashbacks and then one present, so they don't bore us with either side, which is interesting to me. Don't
And
bore
also
us
like
too much with
us
either.
as fans, we get excited when we see him going back into the back to tank because it's like, oh, another
Mhm.
flashback, let's go. Except for the
However
folks who hate flashbacks.
However, I do have to say, I don't want to see no more monsters, and I don't want to see that much more flashback. I do want to see a little bit more of that current because current was way more interesting in my opinion because of how it was going. I want to see this whole Mary conspiracy and everything like that. So hopefully there isn't too much more of that, but I do understand if some of that has to come in.
The thing is, like, a lot of the criticism, is sure it's understandable, but at the same time, like, this is the first episode of the show, so you got to you got to give it some time to find itself tonally, right?
Hmm.
We're gonna see what this show is all about in a couple episodes. Sure, it didn't have the same grandiose reveal that we're used to expecting in Star Wars productions, right? In Mando Episode One, we got Baby Yoda. There wasn't, this giant reveal that took the world by storm in this episode, but there probably will be a couple episodes from
What
now.
is
So
that
just
for
stay
Boba
tuned.
actually? I'm not even I haven't even thought of that. What is that giant? What is the kingpin of Boba Fett?
It's Han Solo.
You think so?
So in Legends, like he goes to Nar Shaddaa, which by the way, they gotta show it in live action. Please make it happen. Like
Just visually,
all the
they got
Legends
it.
fans
They're
will
on
lose
point
their
visually.
shit. What's up?
They're on point visually.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they did a really cool thing with Mos Espa. They took Doug Chang's old concept art that he made for the Phantom Menace, and because he's the production designer on this show, they referenced it and showed us like Mos Espa 2.0, which I thought was really neat.
Mm,
Do you
that's
like
cool.
that like architecture of the city, like built into a
Yeah, I thought it was
plateau?
really good. I also, if Han Solo's that guy at the end, then I'm very, very excited for that. That's super cool. And
He
hopefully
is
they
the
don't
guy, bro.
hopefully they don't build a lot of anticipation and do the same thing because then a lot of the way Hawkeye was, right? Even in our talk about Hawkeye, like we just keep talking about how they kind of missed the target for Kingpin instead of talking about all the great things that happened in the show. I don't want Boba Fett's show to turn that same way. It's too late to wish that for Hawkeye, but I don't want Boba Fett to turn that same way.
Yeah, please, please no. Let's talk about the theme song. I
Horrific.
mean, I
But it
heard
fits,
this the
but it
day before
fits.
it came out. No, honestly, it's grown on me. At least like the first part, but like dum
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 dum.
da dum.
It's like I understand why they put it because it's like a nod to Timur Morrison's Maori origins and all that. With that being said, I really wish I liked it, but I can't really bring myself to think of that latter part of the song as Star Wars
Dum
music.
dum.
I'm just spoiled by having like John Williams and like Ludwig Göransson's crazy soundtracks.
Can I ask you a question? Was this
Yeah, what's up?
show as dumb dum da dum as the actual theme song?
It was absolutely not.
Okay,
I
good.
think they did a really good job with the music in the show, except for the theme song.
That was a deep cut,
Ludwig
by the
Göransson
way,
killed it.
guys. That was a deep cut because he was so peeved when that song came out. He was like, "The show better not be as dumb, dumb da dum as as this goddamn
Yeah, I
theme
mean,
song."
I was gonna tell him you stole my joke right there, but hey, I'm not complaining. At least it made it in the video somehow, right?
Because you forgot to do it, so I was like, I have to do it now.
There you go. All right, but the music and the visuals were fantastic. We got to see the return of Figrin Dan, I believe, and also Max Rebo, who is like the blue elephant alien that we last saw on Jabba's sail barge in Return of the Jedi. Apparently, dude had like a parachute stashed up because he survived, and now he's back at the cantina playing a remix off the Cantina theme. Wasn't that like a nice shift?
Mhm.
It showed us that like it's not the same world that we saw in Return of the Jedi. Like the world has changed slightly, but it's still the same characters, right?
Yeah. Hopefully
It really
they
felt organic.
hopefully they do also show a little bit of like maybe a little bit of the Mando stuff. And is the Mando going to be still around? Kind of like the one we
I think he's showing up in this. They're also probably going to show us like Cobb Vanth. That's my prediction. Mando is probably a good possibility. I heard like a 4chan leak indicating that at the end, Mando would be recruiting Boba for his war to retake
Hold on,
Mandalore
hold on, hold on. We're gonna do a whole thing. We're gonna do a whole vid on that. The whole vid on the leaks later.
later.
Don't give him
With
too
that
much
being
here.
said, I don't think that leak is credible, unfortunately, and for good reason. But there's an element of that leak which I think is true because the, people have been saying, Crimson Dawn is rumored to appear in this show, and Kira is the big bad orchestrating all these different plot lines. But it's the same motif as Crimson Dawn, which makes me think that at some point Kira will be appearing. I have mixed feelings on this. Like I love Kira as a character, but I do think her inclusion would have been better suited for a
Hmm.
solo sequel.
I get what you're saying about that. I don't know. I think if they make it work, they make it work. I'm kind of willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. Plus, John Favreau is part of this, so you got my vote.
That's true. He wrote everything. Robert Rodriguez killed it on the visuals. Like there was this one shot of like the Tuscans like all arranged in this row, like staring over Boba. That was so
Hmm.
westernish, and I loved
I
it.
also liked, you know how they had him on the horse, like how they were dragging him with the
Dragged
horse. That's how they used to
with the
bring.
Banthas,
That's how they
right?
used to bring the convicts to jail back in the old Western days.
It's just like it's a cultural union of so many different
I
concepts. Like with the daimyo,
I gotta give
right?
a complaint though. I didn't like how the mayor's boy sounded. It was such a
The
it
mayor's
was
boy
such
was
a
a little
weird
bitch.
accent. It was just such a non-Star Wars. I don't know. It was like he was just talking normally.
It took me out of the immersion a little bit. I must admit.
A little bit, yeah.
Same with Jennifer Beals characters. Just because like I'm not used to like Twi'leks talking without like French accents. I mean, sure, Hera doesn't, but like most of the ones that we've seen, they like talk with French accents. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Even like Bib
Unfortunately,
Fortuna, homie was speaking in Huttese in Return of the Jedi. He wasn't like,
yeah.
"Yo, what's up, Luke? How you doing?" Right?
Exactly. That breaks the immersion. It's just all of a sudden you remember it's just a dude in makeup standing in front of a camera.
Yeah, exactly. I think they definitely maybe like giving a British accent or something like that, right? Make him sound
Give
Star
him
Warsy.
something. Give him something to make it sound foreign to the U.S. population at least. Also, it was a little bit too dark in the Sarlacc stuff, and it was a little bit too dark at certain points of the show, so you couldn't really see the visually, sound parts. But the rest is
I heard some people were complaining about the CGI of the monster, and I have to agree. Like that was a little dodgy at times. It felt,
I didn't
l-
like you know how I feel about the Star Wars monsters. Go back into the Star Wars stuff, and y'all will all figure it out. Like Star Wars Monster Hunters is just like the most annoying part of it because you just have like a roar, and then you have them killing the monster somehow. I'm not a fan in total. The less you do that, the more I will watch.
I love the monsters, and y'all know that. I thought this one was awesome, especially like the scene where that little like Tuscan Raider's like running away. He's like backing up, and the monster's like, "Nah, I'm not letting you go." But I got good news for you since you love monsters so much, right? In the coming episodes, Boba Fett will be riding not only a Rancor, but what's rumored to be the Rancor from the Bad Batch. Talk about
Oh God, bro.
the
Okay, you didn't
return.
even like that. Hold on, you didn't even like that.
Bad Batch was awful. I'm sorry, all y'all Bad Batch fans out there. Y'all are entitled to your opinions, but that show was just it was disrespectful. I'm sorry, it
Yeah,
was terrible.
the same thing. Like, also, it's not that I'm just being mean to Star Wars, right? I can for monsters. If you just mindless monsters piss me off in any like Shang-Chi. My biggest issue with Shang-Chi was just that dude had the little dragon monster at the end of it, and that was the main villain that like sucked your soul or whatever. I didn't think that was that good, but at least they had that real Mandarin to kind of balance that out.
Make up for the inclusion of a terrible monster.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
don't monsters just don't it just doesn't entice me. Like you need to have a villain with something to care about. You need to have a villain with something there. Kingpin is a great example. Thanos is well, Kingpin was a great example. Thanos is a great example. Hela was a good one. I don't know who else was Killmonger. I don't know who else. Obadiah Stane. These people were all really good villains. Even what was his name? I guess what was Giancarlo Esposito
Gus Fring.
in Mando?
Oh,
No, not yeah. Of course,
Moff
Gus Fring
Gideon.
is a great example. Palpatine is a great example. Moff Gideon is a great example.
I think
These
Palpatine's
people are
interesting
all
because like he's also like a monster in his own right. You know, like he looks
well, yeah, but he doesn't
decrepit.
roar. I'm not. If the monster would talk and have a real like in the same way Thanos is a monster, right? But if the monster talks and has and makes sense, exempt. But if it's just like if his most impactful dialogue of this show is roar.
That was the most dead roar of all time, guys. From now on, whenever there's a monster, we're gonna play a clip of that monster roaring, and we're gonna put your dead roar
Yeah,
over
you
it.
know
All
what? It's
right,
dead because that's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. It's just roar. If
it's
that's
dead
your most
inside.
impactful
But
dialogue of the entire thing, you're not exempt.
100%. Let's stop talking about monsters. I know y'all are probably tired of it, and let's talk about some other things we liked about this episode. I loved the politics of it, and just like how much it introduced like Boba as a formidable figure in this underground world. You know,
Yeah.
especially like there was this nice touch where the Trandoshan brought a Wookiee carpet, which is like it's a reference to their history and legends where the Trandoshans and Wookiees have big beef.
I also liked how
So,
Boba made the two bodyguards respect him. And I thought
oh yeah,
that
I
was
love
really
that too.
interesting because it's like maybe they're going in the direction that Boba is right and respect can be a way to win. Because these mafia guys, they got a respect code that's crazier than anything else. They have morals.
It's
Like
Omerta, right?
yeah, so why is it that you can't maybe respect rules? Maybe that's how it works. Maybe Boba wins.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, like I do think we'll get some more lore on those two particular Gamorrean guards, and maybe like when they betray him, then he'll be like, "All right, I'm done trying to get y'all to respect me. It's time to bring out the fear. Y'all forgetting who I am. I'm like the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy,
Right,
right?
right.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'll tell you that. What are you looking forward to seeing in the next episode?
I just want to see more of the politics, more of the fear, and more of exactly what you just said. And I want to see more in the present and action. No more monsters. That's my thing. But yeah, just as much more of the action as you can show. Just as much more of um, that whole scene of Boba being a leader. I think that's gonna super interest me. And every time he makes someone respect him, etc., etc., I think that's gonna be really cool.
I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10,
Hmm.
only because it was too short. You know, they have to make them longer episodes. I think it's disappointing when you got 7 episodes and one of them is 38 minutes long.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 for that reason and because of the little p- parts. You know, the middle part was really solid, but the beginning and end, and I can even exempt the beginning because I know what the purpose was. But the end, kind of being on the slower monstery side, is like a little bit too slow. And if you can't have
It
that much
was
filler.
little bad
A
batchy.
little bad
I can tell.
batchy, yeah,
And maybe Filoni had some influence with that one,
yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely 100%. But either way,
But
let's see
yeah,
what this Rancor looks like next episode, right?
I think Dave Filoni, John Favreau, and Robert Rodriguez have some excellent stuff in store for us. I said that with a bad patch, and I was wrong. But please, please,
You saw the smile on
I don't
my
want to be
face and you were
wrong.
like you have to because I remembered it. I just flashed back to Bad Batch and I was like he's gonna eat his words and I'm gonna get to make another this aged well video.
No, but it's John Favreau. That man can do no wrong, and y'all know it. So
Facts.
come on, have some faith in our boy. Until next time, see you guys, and leave your thoughts and theories in the comments. We will respond to each and every one of them. Peace.
Peace.